Okay, bonsoir à tous. Bonsoir à tous, good evening everyone. Selamat malam rekan-rekan sekalian. I'm Ayudhya Cempaka from Alliance Française de Bali, and I'm your host for tonight's discussion. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. So tonight we will have a discussion entitled Cultural Heritage and Multimedia. This discussion is a part of the program of November Numeric in Indonesia. Before we start, let me explain a little bit about November Numeric event. So November Numeric, or in English, Digital November, is a digital culture festival that is taking place in almost 70 countries and 100 cities in the world. And this festival was initiated on 2017. So this year is the 4th edition, but in Indonesia, we just joined this festival this year. So this is the first edition of November Numeric in Indonesia. In Indonesia, this event is also organized to commemorate 70 years of diplomatic relationship between France and Indonesia. And November Numeric in Indonesia is celebrated in collaboration with 6 museums in 6 cities. We have Museum Perkebunan Indonesia in Medan, also Museum Nasional in Jakarta, Museum Konferensi Asia Afrika in Bandung, Bentara Budaya in Yogyakarta, House of Sampurna in Surabaya, and Museum Bali in Denpasar. A French man artist and 6 Indonesian women artists are involved in the virtual exhibition of November Numeric in Indonesia, which bring a specific theme, Flux de Mémoire, or in English, Memory Stream, or in Bahasa Indonesia, Arus Memori. This virtual exhibition is curated by Ayos Purwo Aji, a curator from Surabaya, and you can enjoy the virtual exhibition for free from November 27th to December 7, 2020 in the website novembernumeric.id. Okay, and for the next 60 minutes, we will have a very interesting discussion with 3 speakers and a moderator. And this online discussion will talk about the current strategies of cultural heritage and multimedia artistic. And let me introduce to you our speakers for tonight. The first speaker is Alice Romain from Centre des Monuments Nationaux, the institution of preservation of national monuments and collections under the Ministry of Culture and Communications of the French Republic. Bonsoir, Alice.
Bonsoir, hello.
Hola, bienvenue.
Thank you.
Welcome to our discussion.
With pleasure.
And the second speaker, we have Yusfatria Adri from Sembilan Matahari, a community that is focused on cross-disciplines designs, films, and creative coding expertise. Selamat malam, Mas Adri. Good evening.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam. And the last speaker, we have Marion Carré from Ask Mona Paris, a multidisciplinary group of people that is composed of art history specialists, editors, developers, engineers, and artists. And their work domain is also about artificial intelligence innovation. Bonsoir, Marion.
Bonsoir, good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here tonight.
Yes, our pleasure too. And good evening also to our moderator. We have Monsieur Benoit Bavouset from Institut Français d'Indonésie, or IFI Surabaya. Good evening.
Selamat malam.
Selamat malam. Okay, and before we start the discussion, to our respected audiences, if during the presentations you have questions for our speakers, please drop your questions in comment section. It can be in English, it can be in Bahasa Indonesia, or it can be in French too. Don't worry, we will translate your questions into English. And also, if you want to ask the question directly, it means you want to appear virtually in video. Do not hesitate to tell us through the comment section. Okay, I think we are ready to start.
Thank you, Ayu.
Yes.
Could we send some question in Bahasa Jawa?
Sure, I understand Bahasa Jawa and I understand Bahasa Bali too, so
Perfect.
Don't worry.
So hello, my name is Benoit Bavouset, Director of Surabaya. I will be the moderator of this talk. I will just give a few words about our three panelists, more as Ayu told you. So Alice is a digital project manager for Multimedia, or an incubator for the National Monuments Center, CMN, Centre des Monuments Nationaux in France, which is the largest public operator in France dedicated to heritage monuments. And Marion Carré, I thought that because I know that it's very important for our Indonesian public. Marion is alumni from La Sorbonne University in Paris, creator of Ask Mona, a French startup which produce chatbot and tools helping visitors to prepare travels and discovery heritage places in France. And at least Yusfatria Adri is coming from Bandung, is a Chief Creative Officer at Sembilan Matahari. In French, Sembilan Matahari, 9 soleils. And qui est Cagar, Mas Adri?
Baik.
Bye. Bonjour à nos deux intervenantes également de France, Alice et Marion. For the moment and to introduce the discussion, I would like to ask for you, to three of you, a question could be: how can multimedia tools and artificial intelligence improve visitors' experience in heritage, but in respecting soul of monument? And to finish, I would like to thank also all the well-known participants in the field of creation from Indonesia, and those especially from Surabaya that are well known, who will participate to our discussion after the talk. In the field of heritage and architecture, Ina Silas, Tony Prio, Freddy Istanto, Cindy Yosita, Kerim Nisa, Emmanuel Ginting. In the field of art, Irawan Adikusomo, Atiek Listiowati, Duo Ilumi, Agus Kuching, Matthews Celsius Sinaga, Ilyun Tokin. In the field of cinema, Cinema Pensionan, Faunzan Abdillah. In the field of archaeology, Adri, Taufik Johan Defri, dari Balai Arkeologi Sumatera Utara. And many thanks to my friend Mike Neober, director of Wisma German in Surabaya. So the place is yours, Alice, to begin. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Benoit. So I can share my screen up like this. Okay, so to answer your question, Benoit, today we see that multimedia tools are common in the cultural sector. To implement them in monuments, however, these tools need to have an added value to the existing mediation, like paper booklet, cartels, or visit itinerary. And those enrich the visits with contents that are now visible. This is the case for virtual reality that makes inaccessible areas accessible for the public, or a chatbot that comes to inform the visitors directly on his smartphone, for example. The visitor experience can be enriched in many ways, and I'll give you a few examples if you want. But first, let me introduce this talk by give you an overview of the National Monuments Center. It is the leading cultural and tourist establishment in France, as you can said before, with nearly 100 monuments throughout the country, including such famous monuments like the Arc de Triomphe, the Mont Saint-Michel, or the Panthéon, and other more discrete sites such as the Font-Gaume Caves or the House of Georges Sand in Nohant. For more than 10 years, the CMN has been leading the way in the implementation of innovative solutions in monuments. The CMN has implemented and experimented with various solutions, like the digital communication in the 100 monuments sites since 2008, and also by redesigning visitors' itineraries by integrating digital media. We have created a mobile application factory, for example, so that employees can enrich by themselves and create contents on cell phones in the various monuments. On the same way, we've deployed a digital cartel factory. We also worked with Histovery to deploy the augmented reality tablets called Histopad at the Conciergerie. And we also worked on guided tours with artificial intelligence at the Villa Cavois, proposed by Askmona, here present with Marion. And other devices have been developed to make culture more accessible to all, like a digital curing system developed to make developed with the company Je File for Notre-Dame de Paris. Also, an online virtual tours with, for example, the visit of the caves of the Font-Gaume or the castle of Voltaire in Ferney near Switzerland. Another example about the launch of a micro-donation campaign called Tous Mécènes. And after all these many successes, the CMN decided to create in 2018 an experimental unit that I will present to you afterwards. So the digital strategy of the CMN, the Centre des Monuments Nationaux, has several objectives. Firstly, with the public, to renew the image of the heritage, to reach new visitors, or to develop new experiences. The digital strategy also has an internal challenge in order to acculturate employees to the new challenges of the digital and cultural field, and to develop new working methods, new skills, new tools in the monuments. And finally, more broadly, to contribute to the development of a dynamic ecosystem in heritage and to support cultural entrepreneurship. Internally, the digital strategy in the CMN is based, first of all, on a common vision that is intended to cut across all the institution's mission and departments. So there is a dedicated team, of which I am a member, called the Strategy, Foresight and Digital Mission, which is responsible for analyzing and sourcing potential innovations. It supports the monuments and the head office in the implementation of these projects. There is also an innovation and development working group, and it has also been set up with nearly 40 employees to share best practices and implement cross-functional working methods. Beyond the mission of the strategy and innovation, many professions design and support digital projects. There is the digital communication division, which manages around 100 websites with 2 million unique visitors per year, plus social networks with more than 60,000 followers on Twitter. There is the digital mediation pool, which manage about 20 mobile applications that I have done, have been downloaded more than 20,000 times. And these mobile applications are created by the monuments via the application factory that I told you before. Next, there is the marketing pool, which is in charge of deploying e-ticketing on all monuments, and which is working on an ongoing CRM strategy. And finally, there is the conservation department, which is in charge of the 3D capture of monuments. So all these projects are obviously the result of solid partnerships established over the years with public and private actors that you can find here. Now let's talk about the Heritage Incubator in more detail. So for 3 years now, the incubator has been supporting startups in the development of innovative solutions in the field of heritage. So in 2018, following the various projects set up and the growing success of digital technology in culture, the CMN launched its experimentation unit to support startups to test and prove that product or service in the heritage sector. The Heritage Incubator will support its first promotion from June 2018, represented by 6 French startups in various fields of activity. So to select the best project, a call for applications is launched for 2 months. Then the candidates are selected internally, and then they pitch in front of an official jury of digital and cultural personalities. The winners are awarded on various selection criteria. They join a great innovation and cultural community, and they receive a grant to test their product or service in the monuments. The mission of the incubator, the mission of the Heritage Incubator is based on the professional supports in different points. The first one is setting up an experimentation. It's like a test to prove part of the solution. It can be, for example, with the public, or to update the technology, or have some feedbacks proving the viability of their business model, or testing the sector's interest in their product or in their service. The experimentation is done with 1 or several monuments of the CMN with the help of the CMN business experts. There is also a series of training courses on heritage entrepreneurship and evaluation methods. And there are also some times for exchanges and meetings with the incubator's network, which represents more than 500 private and public digital and cultural professionals. I am now going to present some of the projects that we have supported in the incubator, starting with the winners of the first promotion that you can discover in this slide. So there was 6 startups for a year working on various projects. For example, digitization and 3D visit with Académie at the Abbaye de Montmajour, creating podcasts for the blind public at the Panthéon with the startup called Ce que mes yeux ont vu. The creation of a sound tour at the Château de Vincennes, Castle of Vincennes by Aachen, a co-working service in a cultural space by Be My Space. And we also try to develop transmedia valorization supports by Studio Sherlock for the National Heritage Day in France. And we also did the installation of chatbots in 8 monuments by Ask Mona, who is present today, and Marion will tell you more about this service. Then the second promotion was launched in June 2019 with increasingly innovative projects again. For example, this promotion has incubated projects promoting sustainable development and nature awareness with Picnic, for example, which deploys energy self-sufficient structures for outdoor catering or mediation services. The Art Reserve, called La Réserve des Arts in French, which helps monuments operate in a circular economy to reuse exhibition materials. Explorama, which creates fun mobile applications to make visitors aware of the fauna and the flora. Or Intensity, which develops a low pollution lighting system. The others selected startups were able to test their product, their solution there were podcasts, microdonation, connected objects, or augmented reality for paper books, for example. And despite the COVID-19 crisis, the second promotion was able to continue to experiment by extending the test over a few months now. And at the same time, the third and the last one promotion was launched this summer with 5 new startups. So there is Blumen Lab, which develops a platform for publishing virtual tours enriched by the employees of monuments. Lumin, which carries out virtual tours for people who are unable to attend. There is also Mercurio, which develops technology for digitizing shiny objects, such as jewelry. Tips.me, they create microdonation by QR codes to make visitors aware of the restoration works. And there is Vintoile, which events touchless interactive screens for immersion in a virtual tour. So it is very interesting during this COVID-19 crisis. So new monuments have been chosen to host these tests, and you can follow the project via our Twitter account of the Heritage Incubator, called in French l'Incubateur du Patrimoine. So to conclude, the CMN, the Centre des Monuments Nationaux, is deploying several digital projects in all of these monuments in order to enhance the value of the heritage and raise public awareness while integrating digital technologies. And with these different examples, you can see that we also try to lead this digital strategy to make employees more autonomous on digital tools. The objective is that each monument can use and implement digital projects themselves whenever they want, once we've trained them to use. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Alice. I would like to ask for you 2 small questions, 2 petites questions. First of all, are you organizing some moments for the startups, common moment to share their expertise?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, they can, when they deploy the test, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. Yes,
okay.
Yes.
When they test their solution or their product, it is implemented in the monuments, so the public can test it. After all, there is some meetings called les rencontres de l'incubateur, where
I don't know if it's if we hear you, Alice.
Yes, I think Alice has problem with the connection.
Yes, I'm sorry, I can hear you.
It's okay.
I cannot see you.
So you told us that they were you organized moment during the development for the creators. Please, could you explain that, Alice?
I'm really sorry, I can't hear you.
Please continue, Alice.
Yes. So there is some meetings with public and professional actors, and the startups can meet the public and the professionals to show their experience and to share more about their experimentations.
And my second question is very short also. Do you have any results in terms of satisfaction or in terms of public in the monuments that you in which you organize such experiment?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you have any results in terms of satisfaction and in terms of number of public in the monuments in which you organize such experimentations?
The goal of the incubator is to test first of all, but then to implement the project for a long time. We have many feedbacks. We can make some meetings to implement the project in the monuments, and after all, the monuments can buy the product for real after the test.
Thank you very much, Alice. I think that our public will have a lot of questions after the during the discussion, and we can give the moment to speak to Marion. So Marion, I see that you work in a very important monuments as l'abbaye du Mont-Saint-Michel, Château d'If, Azay-le-Rideau, or Azay-le-Ferron, no?
Azay-le-Rideau.
Le Rideau, Azay-le-Rideau. And my question is, in such place is very important. How do you improve? How do you invent some tools that can improve visitors' experience in respecting the soul of this location, these monuments who are very, very interesting and very well known in France?
Thank you for your question, Benoit. It gives me the opportunity to explain a little bit the why of AskMona, like why are we doing what we are doing. So what we believe in is that we want to create new kind of conversations between cultural institutions and their public. We think that by creating those new kind of conversation, it can lead to a less vertical relationship and to create new kinds of dialogue. So everything that we do as innovative products, we do it based on the needs of public and cultural institutions. We don't do like tech for tech or artificial intelligence just for artificial intelligence. We always work on the needs we have identified and try to build the most part of the time. We build it in a collaborative way with the cultural institution and the public to be sure that the product and the innovation we create is really helping people and giving something more. So maybe I can share the presentation I have prepared for today. So I'm going to start to present what we do at AskMona, and then I will explain more relationship with the Center of National Monuments and what we did at the Incubator of Patrimoine. So the activity of AskMona is based on 3 pillars. So as you can see, we talk a lot about conversational agents and conversational media. So I think that I need to introduce first what are conversational agents and what are chatbots. It's basically the same thing. So as you can notice in the word chatbots, we talk about robots that you can talk to. And those little robots are mostly available on social networks. So for example, on Facebook Messenger, but also on websites. And so what's the link with artificial intelligence? And I think it's important to introduce that too. The link is that in those chatbots, you have what we call natural language processing. To make it short, it's a technology of artificial intelligence that enables the chatbots to understand the messages that are sent by the users. And what we do also in our chatbots, but it's a specificity of AskMona, is that we use visual recognition that allows us, for example, to recognize a picture of an artwork that is sent by a user. So that was for the quick introduction. And I hope it's clear, and don't hesitate at the end if you have some questions. So to go back to the 3 pillars of AskMona, the first one is our media. The second one is our studio that builds conversational experiences for cultural institutions. And the last one is our lab, when we do some experiments that I'm going to talk to you about. So to start with the media, that's the first thing we started to do, because what we noticed is that, for example, if you want to go to an exhibition, what I used to do before is that I was going to read some newspaper or to go on some website to try to find something that's matched with what I wanted to see, but it takes a lot of researchers to find like the perfect fit for me. And what the chatbot, the aim of the chatbot at the beginning was to be here for people who can just come and say, for example, hi Mona, I'd like to see an exhibition about digital artwork this afternoon in Paris. And so the chatbots can advise to the user something that's specific, correspond to the needs that were explained to the chatbots. So that's what we start to do. And now we're working more on editorial content on the chatbots to be able to tell stories about artwork, about cultural institutions, to make people want to go there. So for example, what I put in my slide is a visual of what we did during the first lockdown in France, because now we're in the second. But during the first one, we created an imaginary museum, so based on the idea of André Malraux. And so we asked to cultural institutions to send us a picture of some of their artworks, and then we put that in our virtual museum, which was a scenario in which you were talking with Ask Mona, and Ask Mona was explaining you some stuff about those artworks that she chose for her virtual imaginary museum. So that was about the media. To talk to you about the studio, so we start doing that because some cultural institutions told us that they want their own Ask Mona, if I can say that. So here I put the example of what we do at the Louis Vuitton Foundation. It's one example, just one example. And for them, we created Ask 12V, which is a kind of a cousin of Ask Mona. And Ask 12V, so it's the little character you can see on the slide, is inspired by the architecture of the Louis Vuitton Foundation. And it's a chatbot that is here to answer to visitors' questions before the visits. So for example, when is it open? Can I come with my children? Is the exhibition adapted for them? Or is there a specific guide or stuff like that? So you can ask a lot of questions to the chatbot to get ready to go to the places. The chatbot is also here to play with the visitors to make them discover the exhibitions. For example, maybe you're not really familiar with the subject of one exhibition, then that can be helpful to have a chatbot that is here to give you some introduction and some first step to get to be more familiar with the subject and then discover everything in the exhibition. And also the last thing that the chatbot is doing is that, so that's the screenshot that I've put on the slide, is that in some exhibitions, you can send picture of the artwork. So here it was a picture of something, some reconstitution of Charlotte Perriand architecture. And if you send a picture to the chatbots, then the chatbot was here to give you more content. And more content can be like archives of photo, video, audio, but also to give you another perspective on what you're seeing. For example, chatbot can be here to advise you to look at some specific detail and to give you another story about the artwork you have in front of you. So it can change your perspective on that. So that's about the studio. And now to talk a little bit about the lab. So we try to think the future of artificial intelligence for cultural industries. And what we do is that, as a lot of startups, we do in-house research and developments. But what is really important for us is to do also experimentations in collaboration with cultural institutions. So to test our innovations with them or with their publics to be sure that it helps them and also we created a community that we call the Artificial Intelligence and Cultural Community, which is here to bring people together that are interested about the subject. So we created today. With the COVID, it was a bit difficult to organize events, but it's really here to make people be able to share their experiences and their discoveries on that subject. So that's about Ask Mona. Now I'm going to talk a bit more about our historic partner, which is the center, the Centre des Monuments Nationaux. And I say historic partner not only for the joke, but because we have a long-lasting story with them. It starts back in the creation of the startup. They were here at the beginning to challenge us in some ways. When you are a startup, it's really important to have feedback on what you're doing. And as I said, it was really important for us to be able to construct our products with cultural institutions, and the Centre des Monuments Nationaux was a great partner for that. And then the relationship became a bit more official with the creation of the Patrimoine Incubator that Alice just told you about, because it was, so we joined the first promotion, and I put a little picture of that on my slide. And that, what was great for us is that we get a more intensive support from the Center of National Monuments, Centre des Monuments Nationaux, because what I like about the way they help us is that they help the startups to have the monuments perspective, and to have a better understanding of the needs of monuments and the way monuments or people inside the monuments think, and that was really precious for us. And also we had the opportunity to test a part of our products in 8 monuments, from the Villa Savoie to the Mont Saint-Michel Abbey. So it was really important for us because it were monuments of different sizes, and that was a great opportunity. Thanks for your attention. If you have questions, you can send them to me or ask them right now.
Thank you very much, Marion. So can I ask for the chatbot Ask Mona to know how many scales I have to walk to go on the top of Abbaye du Mont Saint-Michel?
That's a nice idea. I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think that the chatbot of the Mont Saint-Michel used to answer about that. On Ask Mona, I don't think so. But thank you for a question, because it's the occasion for me to be more precise about what artificial intelligence can do or cannot do also, is that it only answer to the question we have trained the chatbot on. And for us also, it's only give the answers that the team of the monuments or the museums or the theaters decided to give.
So you work a lot with the real guides, in fact, in each location.
Exactly. It's important for us to be to have a complementary tool, and not to replace people in monuments or to replace guides. It's really complementary.
So in how many languages I can ask for your chatbot?
So right now we have French, English, and also Italian, but we can easily train a chatbot to speak another language.
Okay, and my next short question, what will be the next development for us for such tool?
So for chatbot, what we're starting to do is to have more different contents inside the chatbot. So for example, augmented reality, we start working on that because we think it's important for the chatbot to be a kind of hub of contents. And what we also do at Ask Mona is that we're not only working on chatbots, we're working also on artificial intelligence used, for example, to have a better understanding of the visitor satisfactions, or also to do some prediction tool for them. So that's the other things we're working on at the lab of Ask Mona.
Merci beaucoup, Marion. I think you will receive a lot of questions before our discussion. I will give the moment to Mas Adri. So Mas Adri, you are a creative designer, storyteller, web designer. You create 4D, 3D video mapping, and you will explain us your project. I was very impressed by some of that, as I told you, as the one in Bank of Indonesia, the one you present in Light Fest in Moscow, and please present your company and your work.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone. Okay, I will try do my best to.
Please, we don't hear you very well, Mas Adri.
Okay, I will try my best to.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks.
What are Sembilan Matahari and the work that we have done. So. Is this on? Can you see the picture? Okay, let me try one more time. Okay. Is the picture? You can see the picture now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hello, we are Sembilan Matahari from Bandung. Here are some of our work. What we will share today mainly the work that we done with video projection technique. So we are founded back in 2007, based in Bandung, in West Java, and we are consist of various personnel that have many background and skills, very different, like animators, visual effect artists, architect, programmers, scientists, engineers, etc., etc. Art director, writer, user interface designer, filmmakers, and so on. The main focus of Sembilan Matahari is we do cross-discipline design. So our background is design, and we mainly work with audio-visual medium. So that is our main focus. Blending. Okay, and Sembilan Matahari collaborates with amazing talent around the globe to create both innovative, experiential, inspiring works. We are blessed with some recognition around the globe, like Media Art Festival in Japan and Russia, and last was 2017 in Berlin. Okay, so we can see now the some of our work. This is Gedung Sate in West Java. This is various work. We can see the work from Moscow on the top left, and we also do lights installation. We have done for mapping festival in Geneva I think back in 2013. And on the bottom right is the Fatahillah Museum in Cagar. And the bottom center is the Asian African Conference building in Bandung. This our work in Berlin. I think I'm gonna just do some quick view for the work. Berlin, this is Fatahillah. We've done many time in Fatahillah Museum. We also done the Prambanan Temple in Central Java. This is the work we done in Russia, in Moscow, back in 2014. And then also in Palembang in Sumatra Island. This is the National Museum of Indonesia. This is the Gedung Sate. Ya, di Gedung Merdeka video mapping, ASEAN African Conference in Bandung. From there, we try to explore further with projection technique. We created immersive experience in Bandung with interactive sensors. Okay, lights installation in Bali. This is in Tanah Lot. So this is one of our experiment using projection mapping to create a immersive illusion for TV program. So this is all done just in inside a studio, but with the technique of video projection, we can create the illusion of depth and the feel of a large-scale background. This is the art installation in Geneva. We also display it around the globe, like in Japan and Taiwan. So, okay, this is the Fatahillah video projection. And what I can share about how we came across with this technique, and now that we have done creating artwork with this technique and medium, the story was back in 2010, we think that there are very few public space left in the large cities. So public space usually used mainly for commercial such as billboard.
Please, Mas Adri, your phone, your microphone.
Okay, is it on?
Yeah, it's okay.
So I think a video will better to tell the story about behind the story of the Fatahillah video projection mapping. Okay. I hope this will work.
Ribuan orang dikejutkan dengan runtuhnya gedung Museum Fatahillah di Jakarta Kota. Anda juga membakar gedung sate di Bandung. Nah, itu apa yang Anda lakukan?
Kita terinspirasi bukan karena vandalisme, jadi saya nggak dicari-cari polisi.
Ya, kita dikawal.
Ruang kota itu tidak harus selalu menjadi ruang komersil, dipenuhi oleh billboard, dipenuhi oleh mall.
Prioritas pengambil keputusan di kota lebih banyak kepada ekonomi rakyat, sehingga ruang publik terabaikan.
Perlu ada ruang-ruang yang mengimbangi sehingga masyarakat merasa terinspirasi, menjadi lebih produktif, dan itu sebenarnya peran ruang-ruang publik kita.
Dan yang membangkitkan aktivasi dari ruang publik itu justru warga.
To transform historical buildings into the far side of our imagination. To create a place with a sense of belonging. A place to remind ourselves that each and every one of us has an important role towards positive change.
Behind the video projection that we have done in Fatahillah Museum. So the main idea was we need to do something about the public space that has been filled with all the billboard, mall, etc. And we, as a designer with a background with audiovisual background, what we can do on the public space. One of the obvious option was do a video projection that back in 2010 was not a common thing yet in Indonesia. So it has to be a large scale. It has to be inspired the society, the people that watching the video projection in Fatahila. So they have the feel of a sense of belonging about the space. So after the first projection in Fatahila, the area become what do you say? How do you say it? Become more lively again. Become much cleaner and much more positive and family activity there, because before it was very dirty. Not many people really care about the space at the Kota Tua before. But after we initiate the video projection, people start really remember and really care about the place, and it become more clean and have a much more positive activities there.
It's very interesting, Adri, because I think about the same situation, for example, for Notre Dame de Paris, when Victor Hugo, was taking care and write his book about Notre Dame. The change, the eyes of the population change about this building, and it's very important that the creator should give another point of view about the monument.
Yeah. So sometimes it depends on artists to create movement and changes. So the people that are watching can follow the movement into a better and more positive direction.
And can I ask for you a question, Adri? When you work personally on storytelling about and design about a monument, what is your first state, in fact? Are you beginning with the story of the monuments? Are you beginning with the design of the architecture? What is the creative protocol for you?
Oh my God, both. So
please, your microphone.
Oh, yeah. It has to be both, because first when we project a visual onto heritage building, it has to be the story about the building itself, or the surrounding, or the historical site that connected to the building and the site around it. And also we need to create art that respond the shape and the unique of the building itself. So that are the most two important aspects creating a video projection on heritage building.
And are you drawing in real? Are you sketching, on paper, in real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything that can help. Sketching, we searching reference or ideas from film, from books, from paintings, from what's happening in front of us. Everything that can help. But answering your question, one of the important step is to draw.
And what will be your next project, Mas Adri?
Okay, next project.
If you can say that.
Okay, I think I can say that. I think I can say it from the video projection area. I think I can say this one. Immersive experience using projection mapping.
Where it will be?
Before COVID, we opened it December 2019.
Okay.
But March, everything closed. So right now we are trying to reopen, rebranding the place.
Okay. Okay, I see.
Other than this area, we start working on kinetic artwork that have nothing to do with projection mapping, and I think we are working also developing a virtual reality experience and some other stuff that are very confusing.
So thank you, Mas Adri. So if all of you are right, we can receive some question about the public. Ayu, could you please choose one question, the first one?
Yes, so we have two questions here. The first one is from Atik, Bu Atik. Is there any research to see what's going on public and all stakeholders before making the program strategy of the ecosystem inside, and how? Okay.
Is it for every...
It didn't mention, but I think it's for everyone.
Okay.
So maybe the speakers can answer directly, or we read all of the questions first.
No, we can answer directly if
yes.
you want, Ayu. And please, Alice, do you want to start?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Okay, so the question is there any research to see what's going on public and all stakeholders before making the program strategy of the ecosystem inside? This is the question from Bu Atik.
Maybe it's about the researches before to launch the Heritage Incubator. So yes, for sure. Before to create the incubator, we've made some researches, and it was an idea that the startups will also want the advices of the experts of an heritage establishment like the CMN before to just sell their ideas and make and play their projects in our monuments. So yes, there is some researches, and we share some good practices with some other cultural establishments, so we can know what is our goal to work with some startups, for example.
Please, Ayu, you told them that you have, you told us that you have another question.
Yes, we have some questions, or maybe the Bu Atik mentions this. Maybe Marion and Alice can answer the previous questions, and Mas Adri too. Maybe the other speakers. Do you have answers for the questions of Bu Atik? Or maybe we can ask Bu Atik, is the answer enough? Are you satisfied with the answer? Okay, maybe we can continue to the next questions. If the audiences wants to ask directly live, please let us know, so we can allow you to ask the question directly to the speakers. Okay, so the next question is from Hardian Shah. Is there any issue about freedom of panorama? Since I know that France limits its freedom of panorama, and how the startup to deal with this?
It's a technical question, but it's very interesting. Is it for you, Marion, easy to work now with the new regulation of the right of image of everybody in the space?
That's indeed a great question. What we do to not take so much risk is that we always ask, and it's the cultural institution that send us the content that we use. So then we are sure to have no problem with the rights, because yes, it's an important issue, but more and more there is also open source content, and maybe Alice can talk more about this. So it starts to be easier, but yes, there is still this issue.
Yes, there are more and more free licenses for the images. At the CMN, we open something like a library online called Base Regard, and we can find, like in Wikimedia Commons, for example, many images with free license. So you can use it without to pay or mention the author.
Okay, thank you for Alice and Marion for the answers. And I think we can move to the next questions. Okay, we have question from Mega Pandanwangi. For all speakers, when to make some projects, how long you need to prepare from the beginning, the preparation, the pre-production until the post-production. This is for all speakers. Okay, maybe Mas Adri can answer first.
Pertanyaan ini saya jadi curhat sih. Okay. When to make some project, how long you are to prepare? Start from pre-production until post-production. The ideal time production around at least 3 months. But 3 months is something almost impossible in Indonesia. So when they ask something, they ask like, can you do this for next week or next month or like a few more days? So the culture in our industry in Indonesia, frankly, not that healthy. So we created a team and system to adapt with the situation here. So there are many team members involved in one project. If we compare to maybe like artists from Europe, like Joanny Lemercier, he's former anti-VJ. I think he can do a big scale projection project with like 3 or 4 friends. But here, I think we usually we need like maybe around 8 to 12, 14 person. So, and the reward also very different here compared to in Europe. So yeah, usually around 1 month maybe.
Thank you.
It can be really long in France too.
Yes, to give another perspective for us, depending on the project, it's from 3 weeks to 3 months. But yes, we have some institutions that want to be really quick. It happened too here. But we also have some that are really not so much reactive, so it can take longer also.
So we see that, in fact, the difficulty for some monuments or museum is to really don't know how it's managing to make such development, because I think that it's very long to start, to understand the monument, to write the storytelling, to produce the images. And I think one of your work is to explain the protocol of to produce that kind of tools or image or 3D, 4D movies.
Yes, at Ascona we do most part of the work, but we need them in like some strategic part of the project. But I think it's also because most part of the team, the team are not such big team, so they have a lot of work and a lot of project because they are super motivated and want to do a lot of things at the same time. So it can explain also why sometimes it take a little bit more time than it should be.
I saw a question for Marion about Ascona.
Yes.
Is there some possibility, or are you also speaking about artist residency, artist atelier, or just we can just only use your tools from museum or monuments?
Actually, it's the moment for some advertising. We did a chatbot for Institut Français, and on the chatbot, there are some informations about artist residencies. So this is an example, but most part of the time, the chatbots are mostly for the public, but if some institution would like to put more information about artist residencies, it's possible. They really have they choose the content they want to promote in the chatbot.
Are you? Another question?
We have more and more questions. Actually, we are running out of time, but let's answer the questions that we already have here. The next questions is from Bu Ati also. Mas Adri, this is question for Mas Adri. Is there any relation between the regulation of Pemajuan Kebudayaan to motivate the cultural activities in Indonesia with your activities maybe, and how you work with it?
We hope the work that we have done will have connection with the regulation. So what we do now is we just create, and hopefully the government can be inspired and start trusting the medium and technique to promote culture in various events. Hopefully, hopeful thinking.
And Mas Adri, there is other question for you too. There's testimony. Thank you, Mas Adri, for the very interesting and impressive presentation about your work. I can only agree with Pak Benoit and express my amazement at it. First, I was wondering, how do you choose the objects of your work? What is the process for that? Second, I believe this kind of work involves a lot of official permits. How is it the support of the local administrations usually, and how has this changed over time from your early beginnings until now? And do they act as initiators, or do you usually bring your idea to them?
Okay, a bit tricky to explain. Do they act as initiator? At first, no, they do not act as initiator. So the first one we did in Fatahillah was I think a British Council project about creative city. I can't remember exactly, but the point is they need to do something with the environment that are getting worse in Kota Tua, and a lot of people, designers, architects involved in the project, and one of it was us, and we have the audiovisual background, and we created a video projection there. So after that, people start to notice, and they have the need to do something similar. So slowly, more and more, they become the initiator, and sometimes we come with the idea, such as the Prambanan. We wanted to do in temple for a very long time, but to get there, we have to do a lot of work until there are stakeholders there that want to do a projection. So it was a mutual need. So it cannot be just from one side to do something massive like this.
Okay, Mas Adri, thank you for the answer.
I
And
question. Yeah.
I think there, yeah, a lot of question about the official permits.
Yeah. We obviously need help from that part, because we don't have expertise of or many experience about it. So for example, the first time we did Gedung Sate in West Java, and West Java is like our home, but it took time before someone invited us to do projection there. So they take care of the permits. Yeah, it was from the Gedung Sate side that taking care of the permits, and such as like the Prambanan, we have to do a couple of presentation to the Kemendikbud, Kementerian Kebudayaan and Pariwisata.
Ministry of Culture.
Yeah, the ministry. They really afraid that the heat from the projector might infect the microbiologists being inside the stone and the moss and everything, and could damage the stone there. So yeah, it was a painful process, but paid off.
Okay.
I would
Yes?
like to ask for a question to Alice, because we are in a special moment with the pandemic. I mean, most of the monuments in France are closed. And how you managing the moment in CMN with during the pandemic?
Yeah, that's a good question. There is a large communication which is done by the French Culture Ministry. You can follow the online with the hashtag Culture chez nous. It is like a great list of some online initiatives, online projects that you can make directly with your computer or with your smartphone. We try to make some virtual tours. We try to.
So we will do one with you next Saturday.
Yes.
If
yes,
you can
sure.
speak a little bit about that.
Yes, it is a virtual tour at the Arc de Triomphe with a guide. So you can follow the guide during the visit, and she will be with her smartphone, and she will explain to you what is the monument. It is a great monument in Paris, the Arc de Triomphe. So you can share this project for Saturday.
Do you think it's important that the moment in such sharing is live? I mean that there is someone behind the camera to share with the visitor.
It depends. It can be very, very helpful for the public to have someone in live, but most of the projects are not in live, and you can visit a museum or you can visit a monument whenever you want, and you can make like 10 minutes or 1 hour. It depends on your opinion and your attractivity for the culture.
And to complete my question with Marion and Adri, do you think that this period of the pandemic will change the way to use the new tools, the multimedia, and the way to visit the heritage monument?
Definitely, because we need to stay up to date with current situation, whatever it is. COVID is one of the examples. So video projection on large scale building, for example, Heritage Museum, usually it will gather a lot of people, but now we cannot do that. So we need to keep innovating, perhaps like do a virtual show. We do the projection, but with limited guests on site. Also with a live screening or live streaming on YouTube, etc., or perhaps even on a virtual reality world. Our friends. In Jogja, mid-2020, using they create a light festival in Jogja, and they created and held it in a virtual reality world. So that is one of the.
And Marion, what is the how are you working during this period of pandemic?
Well, we're still working. It's not so easy because museums are closed and the team needs to reorganize, but most of them call us because what we're building is a way for them to keep the link and to still have a relationship with their visitors, even if the museum or the monuments are closed. And I think it creates a shift in the way museums, monuments, and cultural institutions see their visitors, because before the most important was for them to come inside. And for example, in their statistics, they were mainly focused on physical visitors, if I can call it like that. And now they try to focus more also on online visitors and to see it as important as physical visitor, to be able to give them content online and to focus also on the kind of new relationships they can build online for like also communities of people that are not close to the monuments. And that's an opportunity to like have even bigger communities and online communities for them.
Merci. Are you?
Okay, we have live questions from Bapak Supaat. So he will ask directly to the speakers. Please, Bapak Supaat.
Okay, thank you.
Where you come from, Bapak Supaat?
I come from Malang.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, in East Java, but I work in Batu. Yeah, I work in Batu in Indonesian Heritage Museum. The museum is located in Jatim Park 1. Have you come to the park? Sorry, mister.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
But I know very well Malang because it was the place for Matahari.
Oh, yeah. Please, someday maybe you can come to Jatim Park one, and you can.
You should invite me. You should invite me, Pasupa.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, please, with the pleasure.
Okay,
my question is, if the lighting art application made by Mas Adri, I think it is just could be applied in the night, and I think the art lighting application is applied to attract more visitors. How it can make to attract more visitors come to our Indonesian museum. How about if it is could be applied in our Indonesian museum, because all of our Indonesian museum are open in the day, not in the night. Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll answer it. So about the day-night, we can use other medium than lights, but if we still want to do with lights, we can create, for example, from our work, the immersive room. We can tell stories. We can tell any stories if we create immersive room using projectors, because it won't have any direct sunlight coming into the room, right? And we can also create something like a night festival. So the purpose, now I remember about our work in Bali, in Tanah Lot. So the purpose we did lights installation in Tanah Lot, because after it became dark, no tourists will be the place will be empty, and what we did there is that we need to extend the duration for the people so they can enjoy the place there until night. So that's why we create the lights festival there. After the sun come down, they can still enjoy their time there, enjoying the lights installation. So there are purpose why we did a light installation in Tanah Lot. Tanah Lot is a very remote place. After it get dark, everything closed, no activities anymore. So if we can use that idea to the museum field, I think one of the reason we should try create something like Tanah Lot, enjoy their time in museum. But about creating installation using, for example, projection video, there we can find a solution. For example, the immersive room. That was just one example. I think we need to discuss more with the museum about the visitor pattern, what they interest, what are the interests of the visitor to the museum there, what are the main attraction, what are the selling point, etc., etc.
I will just continue a little bit the question of Pat, and speak about the night of the museum, the European Night of Museum each year, it's very important to create new conditions to the first time that we experienced visiting museum in night was a German experience. In fact, Langenacht der Musee in 1997. And right now, every museum are opening once in a year during the night. I think it's the case for you, Alice, from CMN. And could you explain how it's running for CMN, the night of the museum?
The night of the museum is a great great commercial, if I can see like that, because we can touch a public that don't came another day or don't have the so it is a great event for us, but this is not our
night long.
No, it depends. It can be like for midnight or something, but it depends on the monuments. Sometimes the monument is closed, but there is something around, like a mapping or a light, special lighting. But with the crisis, it is very difficult to manage this kind of events. So we try to launch e-ticketing for that special night, for example, and to have like 10% each hour. It is very difficult to manage that events for now.
Do you have any more questions before leaving?
Yes. Unfortunately, we only have 5 minutes left, but we still have 5 questions. So maybe for each question, one of the speakers can choose to answer.
By
the
yes
next
no?
Question.
No.
Yes.
By yes or no?
Pardon. I'm sorry.
Yes or no question.
I think we have to stop the question. I'm sorry for everyone, for all the beloved audiences. Okay, let's move to the next question. We have Ina Silas. How does the Ministry of Culture and Communication encourage the museums and heritage buildings to leverage their programs or activities into digitalized format, especially during pandemic? If any, in what form the supports are provided by the government?
So Ina Silas is very well known in Surabaya. She was the former directress of House of Sampurna, one of the most important cultural space in Surabaya. So maybe it's a question for Alice.
Yes, we have a very thankful cultural ministry in France. They give us a grant during the first crisis. Now the second one is a little bit more difficult, but we try to make the efforts in common with the French ministry, with other organizations in the culture, in French culture. So we try to deliver some opportunities for the public to come in the culture without to be here in the museums. So we try to do our best online, as we said before, with virtual tours, with communication. But the French ministry is always there to implement our projects and to win on visibility for us.
Okay, thank you, Alice, for the answer. And maybe we can move to the next question. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit hurried.
Yes.
So yes, we are running out of time. Sorry. Next question from Gilang. This is question for Marion. Are you only focused on your work in France, or do you have thoughts of expanding it in Asia?
So at first we started with France because we're in France, so it was easier. But we start to work with institutions in other countries. So yes, we are totally open to start to work in Asia.
Okay.
That was a short answer because I know you're running out of time.
Okay, maybe you can start from Indonesia. Okay, thank you, Marion. But we have question 2 for Marion. Hi, thank you for sharing the experiences with us. I have a question to Marion about the project. What is the next milestone for AskMona project?
Okay, so there are several milestones, but I can tell you about one I'm working a lot on right now. So we try to understand how we can create collaborative, innovative projects with cultural institutions. So we're starting to develop a unique method to take different cultural institutions, for example, a group of 3 or 5 of them, and to co-produce with them an innovative product. So it's already have been done, but we would like to find the best method to do it like in a way that is not too long and that is not too costly for them also. And it will be like for us the next milestone on the way we can start from the needs of the cultural institutions to build a meaningful product using artificial intelligence.
Just a small, short question, Marion. Are you using Ask4Mona for non-material project?
For like, what do you mean exactly?
Tradition, I mean non-material patrimony, non-material heritage. Is it one step that you want to explore?
Yes, we work with some cultural institutions that have, for example, online collections that they try to expand and to get known by people. And so the chatbot is here to advise to people some content they would like to discover. And sometimes it's also like matching them with artwork they couldn't expect to discover. So yes, we're working with online collections, if it was the sense of your question.
Okay, thank you, Marion. Some questions are already answered by Mas Adri through text, and we have question for Marion. What do you suggest for the visitors, the museum, to catch some information about heritage place during the pandemic, beside visiting the site?
Okay, so that's a big question. To answer shortly about what we're doing is that now we have more and more the reflex to have like a part of the experience and of the tool that you can use on the site in situ, as we say, and a part of it that you can use online. So and I think that's what become more important for cultural institutions is to be able to build products and tools that can be used in any situations, online and on the site. And that's what we try to focus the most on, because it's important for that if at any moment they have to close, to have some tools that are still relevant for online visitors. So we were focusing mostly on that right now.
Okay, thank you, Marion, for the answer. Okay, next question, maybe. Oh, okay. Other question for Marion. In East Java province, especially in Carré district of Kediri, it has a monument similar or replica of Arc de Triomphe of Paris of France. May someday you can apply your art in the monument of Paris. I'm not sure is it the questions, but it is information that in Indonesia it is now getting popular for the government to make a duplicate to duplicate the popular monuments of the world like La Tour Eiffel and Louvre, Arc de Triomphe, in Indonesia to attract the local audiences especially.
Okay.
So, okay, okay, I think that's all. We already answered all the questions, and Bapak Supaat asked for the telephone number of Mas Adri. Maybe after we can give
of course
call. Okay, and this is there is an opinion from Firman Muhammad. I think, in my opinion, Surabaya city government could make experiment just like Ask Mona and Sembilan Matahari in Fortress Kedung Cowek. Okay, I'm not familiar with this site, but this is a good idea.
And I hope, Mas Adri, you will make something for the Day of Hero in Surabaya one time. I didn't hear you.
Mas Adri masih mute.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So we have friends there that also a designer and artist that working with projection mapping. So if we can come there and create something, maybe we can have the opportunity to collaborate with them.
So, it's time to close?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to wrap the discussion.
Yes. So I just want to highlight three words, three ideas that I have in hearing our experts. That innovation, how it's important to innovate, to experience monuments, to experience the heritage, and also how it's important to share with real person in the monuments, in the museum, to create the best product, and how all this production take time. And it's important to have time to produce something very well for visitors. I would like to thank you, all the people from IFI for the moment. Thank you, Ayu. Thank you, Marion. Merci, Alice. Terima kasih, Mas Adri. It was a great moment sharing with you. Now I know what is chatbot. I didn't know that before. And yes, I'm sharing that. And it was a very nice moment to share with you. And Ayu, if you want to have a word also.
Yes, so our discussion for tonight has just ended. We talked a lot about cultural heritage and multimedia, and I hope everyone, the audiences, were enjoying our discussion tonight with the three amazing speakers from France and Indonesia. And thank you very much for Alice Romain, Mas Yusfatria Adri, and Marion Carré, and of course for the moderator, Monsieur Benoit Bavouset. Thank you very much. And for the audiences, I will never get tired to remind you to visit our virtual exhibitions, Flux de Mémoire, on the website novembrenumerique.id. I will copy paste the link on the chat right now.
And okay, Ayu, could you please close the session in Balinese language, because language is our patrimony. So we close it from a word in Balinese, please.
Okay, everyone. But before that, I would like to remind the audiences that we still have a lot of discussions this week. So please follow our Instagram, our Facebook for more updates. Okay, so tonight I will close this discussion. Matur suksema, ring semeton sareng sami. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om. That's it. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you again.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Terima kasih banyak.